is recording.
All right, here we go. Ready, Maverick?
Ready as I'll ever be.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, to M Empire's podcast. We have our first live guest watching. So we got Haley outside the camera looking all pregnant and stuff. So if I ever look in that direction, it's probably because she's laughing at me. So then we got co-host Miss Allison and your host Marshall McGee, and brought on a guest today. His name is Maverick Dale McGee, right?
That is correct. Thanks for having me, Marsh.
Yeah.
I feel very professional, very big time just being on this podcast.
Yeah, and you should, because it's huge. You know, like everybody that joins this, whenever they leave, you know, they're up there in the clouds, you know. Like every single business person that's came on here has just skyrocketed since, you know.
Looking forward to it.
Business is booming after this, so. He's my brother, and I want to get him on because specifically he owns a business and he's owned multiple. So there's probably going to be the next few podcasts. It's going to be Maverick, and then it's probably going to be my dad, and then hopefully we can get my brother Austin on. And then eventually Dallas whenever he comes in. So nice to have you, Maverick McGee.
Thank you.
Yep. I made a cool TikTok today of all the brothers, so that was cool.
That was made us all feel pretty BA.
Pretty BA.
Bad attitude.
Bad attitude. So my dad printed out a bunch of questions for me for my own podcast. So these are like really cringy, really basic ones, so it's kind of funny. I might try a couple of them. I usually only ask like 3 questions, and they're usually almost all business related. And again, it's like a discussion, so we don't have to like go through every single question. You can stick on one question for as long as you'd like. So one of the things on here was, if you got $10 million, what would you do with it?
I would invest all of it except for probably $1 million into real estate.
And then would you give me the $1 million?
Why would I give you the $1 million?
Because we have the same last name.
I mean, I would set it up so that I could always take care of my family if I needed to, but I wouldn't just give everyone everything at once, you know.
Right.
They'd have to earn it, and, you know. Either way, I'd set it up to where if my family needed me to, I'd help them out, and set it up to where I could just help anyone out whenever I wanted.
$9 million worth of real estate would get you
a lot.
In the hundreds of millions.
Yeah.
Probably. So that's pretty huge.
And then the other $1 million, I would keep, you know, some of it for rainy days and then invest a lot of it into just my current business if needed. And yeah, I mean, the biggest secret with money is finding out how many ways you can use that money to work for you instead of trying to work for money. So real estate's the easiest way to do that. We've kind of dabbled a little bit into real estate. Whenever we started our recent business, the first business that I started was a personal training business. And it was a success, but I quickly realized that it wasn't what I wanted to do forever. And since I knew I didn't want to do it forever, I lost all motivation to grow it. And just kind of started thinking about what I wanted to do. And so then the opportunity arose for me to open up a cell phone repair business with my in-laws. And that's been really good. And Haley and I both knew going into opening up another business. I mean, her and I have only been married 2 years. Our anniversary was 2 days ago. So literally 2 years we've been married, and we've opened up 2 businesses. And it's a lot. There's a lot of sacrifice that goes into it, especially when you have a kid, and another one that will be due in March. So we'll have 2 kids, 2 years of marriage, and open 2 businesses. And so there's a lot that goes into that. But when we shut down our personal training business and opened up the cell phone repair business, we knew that we wouldn't make money we didn't really know how long it would be until we'd start making money. Thankfully, we were able to start providing for ourselves pretty quickly, but in the meantime, what we did is we actually took our house and we rented it out to just someone that we found off of Zillow. And so we turned our house into a money-making machine while we were working on the business, because anytime you start a business, it's going to be more likely than not you won't take anything home for really the first year. But we're able to move in with Haley's parents, rent out our house. So, we're living for free, making money off of our house, and the renters were also paying for the mortgage at the same time, because typically you're going to have a mortgage, and then when you rent out your house, you're going to have it set to, $600-$700 more than your mortgage, or more depending on what property you have. So yeah, we were paying off our mortgage and getting paid at the same time and living for free. So that helped us not be so stressed out with starting the second business, and really allowed us to, use a lot of the money that we made in the beginning to put it right back into the business. And I think that's really the main reason why it started to grow so fast and be able to start providing for us a lot quicker than we thought, because our renters had a year-long lease and they ended up only living there for 8 months, because we kind of kicked them out, kind of not. We gave them the option that they could leave early if they wanted to, and they took that and ran. So yeah, we only rented it out for 8 months, but it was nice to be able to have that steady income coming in while trying to focus on the new business.
Mm-hmm. In both of his businesses, the first one was a gym. He opened up a gym, and it was pretty good. It's a very competitive space, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, the personal training, gym, atmosphere, all of that's unbelievably competitive. Everything's switching to online, especially with COVID, and I opened up when COVID was probably at its worst. That's when we started that business. We thought it would do really well just because a lot of the big gyms were closing, and so people probably, looked at the one-on-one training as more of a safer atmosphere. But it was good, but like I said, since I knew I didn't want to do it, I lost motivation to grow it, and so we quickly did what we could to have it last a little bit long enough to provide for us. But then once we were able to, move on to the next thing, we quickly closed it up and just kind of left that chapter alone after that.
Yep. Now he's Mr. Phone Repair. So.
Cell phone repair, yeah.
Fast phone repair if you live in Springfield. So chances are I'll be there. I visit Maverick quite a bit. And I like to dust them in Halo. So
yeah, we've got the Xbox set up at the store. So if you're trying to play some games, come on over and watch me dust Marsh in some Halo.
Yeah, that's definitely not going to happen because I beat you every single time.
Yeah.
So.
I think the coolest thing, though, about starting the second business is realizing, especially looking at our brother and sister-in-law's business, they sell and make synthetic dreads for a living. It's like you can literally make money doing anything. Allie, she makes and sells candles. Haley had a little baby boutique business that she started with her sister. Whatever you love doing, if you can figure out a way to, use that to make money, then you'll be extremely happy, and chances are you'll be really motivated to make it work. But yeah, you can literally make a living off of anything. Just find the niche, find what people need, and chase after it.
Yeah, there's literally a person that made a little plastic door stopper, and whoever made that is probably a millionaire. So you can literally do whatever you want and design the most simple things ever and make a lot of money, like pop sockets, the fidget spinners, like all that is a bearing and a piece of plastic welded to it. It's super easy to make if you have the right equipment. So as long as you know what you want, like if your job that you want requires college, then I'd recommend college 100%. But if the job that you want to do does not require the extremist of levels of college, college might not be for you, and a lot of people are stuck on the niche of having to go to college, and they know that they have to go to college after high school, but you got to know that college is not the only option, and there's multiple millionaires that I know that didn't even go to college, and there's a lot of online millionaires that did not go to college. So you do not need to go to college unless you're going to be like the doctor or the lawyer, something like that. So
can I say something right here?
Yeah.
So going off of that, March brings up a good point, because I didn't go to college. I would have only gone to college to play football, and that was literally the only reason why I ever wanted to go to college. So once I figured out that football wasn't in the picture, I didn't care about college. But what I did, and what is probably the easiest way to be successful with a business, is, once you figure out what you want to go into, the easiest thing to do, and not necessarily the easiest, but it's one of the best ways to go about starting it, is to find someone who has already had success in that industry. Find someone who is currently having success in that industry, and just go and hang out with them. Grab lunch with them, see if you can shadow them, and just see what they do for a week. What I did is I actually went and job shadowed my brother-in-law's boss in Arizona, because my brother-in-law knew how to fix the phones. And so then I went and job shadowed his boss, who taught me all the ins and outs of the business side of things. And he's very successful in Arizona, and so I knew he'd be a good mentor. And I think that's what really helped us hit the ground running, because we knew and saw firsthand what it takes to be successful, and then we're able to apply that immediately with our store, and have seen, big amounts of success very quickly, thanks to the guy that I was able to job shadow.
Yeah. It's a very important things, Maverick. What's one insult that you've been told that you found as a compliment?
Insult? As a compliment?
Yeah. Like something you kind of just laughed off and took it as a compliment. Probably anytime someone said you use steroids, which he does. So
I definitely don't.
No, he doesn't, but
I mean, that could be one, but I mean, as far as the business side of things, I don't know, I've had some of the other owners of cell phone repair places in Springfield come up to me and kind of just say props to you for starting this, but don't expect it to be that big, or your location isn't that good. I literally had a guy tell me that when my location's 10 times better than his is. So I don't know. I think the biggest thing is anytime people shoot you down, it's because they know that you will be successful. And so I feel like any insult anyways is something that you can take and use it and see the good in it. So
yeah, someone that's bigger than you would not be insulting you. So it's only people that think they're below you are the ones that are insulting you.
Which is why you just said I took steroids.
No, that's not the case. So that was an example. That's not the case. So that's the thing.
Contradicted yourself right there.
Whatever. I don't give a crap, Maverick. You do take steroids.
Just did it again. Small man Mars for you right there in action.
Yeah, whatever. So this one's a good one for you, because before Maverick did his two businesses, the McGees are known to be pretty hard workers, and we don't really have an off switch whenever it comes to work. We kind of finish whenever the job's done. And one of the things was Maverick had, I don't know why Haley's smirking over there. We're definitely the hardest working family. One of the things is Maverick had multiple jobs before he even started owning his own businesses, and Haley as well. Haley, if you want to pop in, you can. But if you're just gonna sit there and laugh, okay? All right.
I think she's probably just gonna sit there. And
Yeah,
laugh.
probably. Yeah, probably. I'm sure the people on the mics can hear you from over there. Been giggling this whole time. So, one of the questions, Maverick, is after having lots of experience working for people, what was your least favorite job you've ever worked?
Oh. Well, if I'm being honest, I really only had 2 legit jobs before I started opening up my business.
No, you worked for like Steve a little bit, and then you had Ashley Furniture Home Store.
Well, that's
you
one
worked
legit
at
job.
the hospital.
That's the other legit job. I mean, yeah.
What was the other one?
That was it.
Well,
Two legit. And
I had a lot of side gigs, as you could say.
a lot of side
I really
gigs,
loved.
like a lot of drug dealing. But
No.
the main thing is
You're literally gonna get the cops. Like, if you ever go big, they're literally gonna use this and come after you and come after me.
the McGees are not a mafia. I'm
No.
joking. That's my sarcasm.
No.
The whole difference though is a lot of people stick with their jobs for many months, maybe even years. But the second you got home, the second you went home, you did that football training in Arizona.
Yes.
And then that's whenever Haley slowed you down from your dream. And then you came back here, you married the chick, and then you got 2 jobs immediately.
I married her in Arizona. She didn't slow me down from my dreams. I got injured and realized I wanted to just focus on the family and providing for them in the more common way. Football would have been fun, but definitely would have made me a slave to it. And if I played football, Haley would have had to work like 2 jobs
Yep.
and all that stuff. So,
Haley is definitely a family blessing.
yes. But to answer your first question about which job I liked the least, I mean, it's like I hated Ashley Furniture only because the hours were terrible and being a sales rep for that company was not the best.
Here, pass that to Allie. She can ask you the next question.
Okay. But yeah, I worked for Ashley Furniture as a sales rep, and I don't know. I mean, it's like it was kind of fun. It was cool to be in that atmosphere, and I really liked all the workers there. Like all my coworkers there are awesome people, and I'd still hang out with them today if I ever hung out with people. But I rarely hang out with people due to.
You gotta let that loose a little bit.
Was my mic bad? Was it bad?
No, it wasn't bad. You
Oh,
can
okay.
probably still hear you, but I'm just watching the decibel levels.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, Ashley Furniture was good as far as the coworkers, but that job sucked because of the hours. You're definitely a slave for the company, and how much money you actually bring in doesn't even, I mean, your cut of that money is so small that it's like just a punch to the face. So it's like you could sell $10,000 worth of furniture and you'd maybe see, if you're lucky, $1,000 of that. That's like at the max. So that aspect of it I hated. But I mean, that's common in any sales job. But then after that, I worked for Mercy Hospital, and I actually really enjoyed that job, but they just pay you absolutely nothing. So I enjoyed the day-to-day with that one, and the hours were pretty good. But yeah, I don't know. I quickly realized that I wasn't meant to work for someone else. I was meant to work for myself and make things happen. I just always felt like my ideas were good enough and big enough, and my skills that I've gained through my family, through serving a mission for my church, I feel like those skills were, restricted if I was always working for someone. But when I'm working for myself, I can literally just take the cap off of my bottle that has all the skills and use them every day. to create greatness. But yeah, I mean, working for yourself isn't always meant for everyone, though. I mean, there's definitely a lot of stress that goes into it, and you have to always be thinking about the business. Even when you come home, it's hard to turn your brain off, if I'm being honest. I mean, it helps having Haley and Styles to come home to be able to just be like, all right, let's have family time and relax. But if I'm ever by myself, I'm more likely than not thinking about the business and thinking about how we can grow it. And so I would say that's like a blessing and a curse when you start your own business. You know, they say you go from your, 5 to 9, or 9 to 5 job, working 9 to 5 to working 24/7, and that is kind of true. So yeah, it's not, working for yourself isn't for everyone, but those that want to do it, it never hurts to just try.
Yeah, because working 9 to 5, you work your job and then you come home and you don't think about your job. You don't want to think about your job. But if you had the opportunity to start your own business and you knew the harder you'd work, the more money you'd make, you'd be wanting to work as absolutely hard as possible. But there's also a thing called burnout, where you work your brain so hard that it just gets cloudy and you can't think of anything, creative block. So you are your own salesman, you're your own product maker, you're your own marketing and money, financial advisor, everything. In a business, you're everything until you're big enough that you can hire out. But there's so many different things that you wouldn't even imagine. Like, a lot of you probably don't even know what like co-funds are, or LLCs, and a business bank account. There's so many things that go into it. You have to have insurance depending on what your company is. Like, there's at least 19 to 20 things that you have to be 100% legal and for it to be hard to sue. And a lot of people starting out don't have the privileges of either talking to lawyers because they're really expensive. So a lot of the business creators are going off of YouTube and people they look up to. So if you were to start, like Maverick said, is find someone that's in your genre and you can learn from them. But there's a lot more.
Could you say that again?
There's a lot more about business than you would imagine. So it's very stressful at the end of the day, because if you don't get any jobs and you're not getting any business, then it's 100% your fault. And there's only so much you can blame on the world. But the flip side, if you worked 9 to 5, you would know at the end of the week or at the end of 2 weeks for sure you'd be getting that check in. But you're not making the full amount the business is. If McDonald's has a business and you're an employee, you're making like not even 1% of what that McDonald's is making. So owning your own business, you get almost everything besides all the little things that you have to pay for your overhead, like insurance and opening up an LLC, which costs, like, if you do it the right way, around $500, or do it my way and it's like $50. But you have to learn how to fill out legal high legal stake documents that at 16 years old I probably shouldn't know how, but now I could probably fill one out in like 15 minutes, because there's just a lot of stress that comes with it, and you learn from all your mistakes. And I've made, I think, 4 mistakes on filling out an LLC, so now I've got it almost tuned in. But there's a lot of high risk of owning your own business, and there's a lot of chances you'll fail, because I think 5 out of 10 businesses after a year don't even make it the full year. And then after that 5 years, there's a certain number that drops off. And then after that, and it just keeps going to where if your business has been running more than 20 years, you're in like the top 1%. So both me and Maverick have both created businesses that we thought was a fantastic idea and had the potential to make millions of dollars, but with the city we live in and the people around us, sometimes those things can't be created with our opportunities. So we had to come up with new inventions, and now this upcoming season for me, we're in the off season right now, but we're hoping that it's going to do really good. And I know Maverick's doing good with his phone business, so there's a ton that goes into it. So just be prepared if you're going to want to start something, to do your research and make sure you do it right the first time. Otherwise, you'll have to redo it.
And the faster you fail, the faster you learn.
Yep. Allie, I know you got some good questions ready.
She's got some beefy questions getting cooked up over there.
Oh, I don't know anything to ask. So
You had 50 questions to look over for 5 minutes. How do you not?
You can ask any of them.
if you could go back and give your 18-year-old self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Move to Arizona.
If I could give my 18-year-old self advice, what would it be? I would say, yeah, definitely move out to Arizona as soon as I got back from my mission. Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't
Just do
I wouldn't
exactly what you did.
I wouldn't change anything. Yeah.
Maybe be nicer to your little brother that you punched in the face.
No, wouldn't change a thing. You are who you are today because of the
That's
punches that you received to the face.
Yeah, that's true. And I deserve those punches. I'm a lot more different human than I was whenever I was 12. So
Yeah.
it was somewhat well deserved.
Yeah.
But in return, like I said, the dusting on Halo just really secured my confidence with our relationship.
Mm.
Yeah.
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 The dusting that I did.
No, that, I've beat you before. It may have been one round out of 100.
What was that?
I've beat
What
you.
was that you were saying about how little men will talk down to you?
Yeah. People under you will only try and bring you down.
Is that your only question?
She's got multiple on there.
Well, yeah, there's like 50 questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did any
and
of them look juicy?
No.
No?
I don't know what
With
word
that
it
being
is.
said, though, with like the someone under you, sometimes people could be making more than you, but
Good question.
if they see where you're headed and you're making big accomplishments, then they're gonna try everything they do to tear you down, and they don't think they're tearing you down. People don't wake up like saying, "Oh, I'm gonna tear him down," but in their personality, in their coding, if they're jealous and they don't even realize it, they're gonna make a joke that they don't even realize hurts you. But you gotta have brains of steel, strong mental mind. All right, you can't ask yourself the question.
She told me to pick one.
Wow,
I'll pick one.
2022
Pick one.
co-host over here. Are you sure you don't want to pop in? So Haley is pregnant right now on their second kid.
Yep.
The gender's released, right?
Yes.
All right, it's a boy. So,
The gender, yes. The name, no.
yep, I know that part. So she's got a belly right now, and so that's because she has the second kid. But she kind of always has that belly.
She didn't even hear you.
No, I heard you.
She's been pregnant almost their whole time of them being married.
It's been 2 years, 2 kids. Yep. 4 months where I haven't been pregnant. I was
Yeah.
going through the math and it's, what is it? It was 24 months. It was like 19 months out
Yeah,
of
you could
24
probably move this one
I've been pregnant.
to this sleeve, but then move it down a little bit. Move it to where your pointer finger was.
How did you meet your
'Cause
spouse?
they're pretty powerful
Significant
mics.
other.
How did I meet my significant other?
Yeah, Alan.
What? So Haley and I met at a church event. It was flag football, and that is where we met. And as soon as we met, it was the most cliche Hallmark movie thing you'd ever see. We met and we knew it was love at first sight. And literally the night that we met, she invited me to Mexico with her family. And yeah, by the time I went to Mexico with her family, which was would have been probably about a month later, I had all the plans made up to propose to her the following, or I guess it would be 2 weeks after that. So we met September 3rd and got engaged October 26th. So it was very fast, and we knew that it was love at first sight. So there was no point in waiting. And we both knew that we were going to live in Springfield, Missouri, which is here. So that was even more so of a reason to get married, so we could just go ahead and move on with life and start it and get things going.
Yep. Okay. What's your biggest failure and what did you learn from that experience?
Biggest failure, what did I learn from that experience?
Sitting to the right of him.
What? So bad.
Excuse me?
No, Haley is...
You'll have to rewatch the podcast to see what I said.
Haley,
Oh, I heard you.
Haley is my biggest achievement. She is
No, we love Haley, but she's probably my only sister-in-law that would not get extremely offended if I made fun of her. No offense to the other ones, but
I'm the cool one.
but Haley.
You better hope they're not going to watch this, Marsh.
Yeah, but Haley's had younger siblings that I guess Ellie did too. But me and Haley hang out the most, though. She can take a joke and she knows the jokes. And the other sister-in-laws, I only share love with them because I don't want to know what they would be like if I
So
if
you're
I made a
mean to
joke
me?
at them. Yes.
I go home and cry every night after we are finished hanging out.
Really?
Yes.
Probably because you're pregnant, not because of me.
No, even when I'm not pregnant. The whole 4 months I wasn't pregnant.
Anyways, moving on.
I
I'm
hope that's not
kidding.
true.
I'm kidding. No, Marsh, I love you. I don't cry.
That's good.
Okay.
Biggest failure. I don't know. It's hard because I always think of all my failures as success.
Well, that's the thing. What was your biggest failure that like you learned the most from? Because
I mean, it'd have to be the personal training business
There you
then, because it was my first business. I didn't know what I was doing, didn't know what I was getting into, didn't know what to expect, but it taught me everything I needed to know to be able to hit the ground running with the next business.
Mm-hmm. And Maverick used to be good at football. Now he's all right. But in high school, he was pretty good, and he probably would have gotten a lot more scholarships if his senior year he didn't have a fat lineman land on him. So he broke his foot, and that's why we think that since he broke his foot, he didn't get any major scholarships. He got big ones, but not like LSU. And so then he went on the mission, and he came back. And then that's whenever he went to Arizona to train to try and do a walk-on to one of the bigger colleges. And that's whenever he met Haley. And then she said, let's not do the football thing. And then they moved to Missouri. And then they had 2 kids, worked 3 jobs. Haley was, I can't even make that joke, so. But Haley was a pool cleaner, a chiropractor, a misogynist.
Physical therapy.
But that wasn't
Physical
all
therapy.
at the same time.
No, that's what I'm saying, that everything led up to me finally just being able to release my best roasts to a human being. So
Yes,
it was
everything.
a true blessing in disguise, because
Everything in
my
our-
life would be so much more boring if I did not have Haley in it. So
Good, glad.
Everything happens for a reason.
yep. Oh, and also Haley's younger, extremely attractive brother, Mikey, is like my best friend now. So that was also a blessing. And their whole family is really cool. So that was good.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
I was my best football season ever is my senior year. Things were looking great. Records were set to be broken, and then broke my foot halfway through the football season. Come track season, I was ranked 3rd in the state. I had the opportunity to make it to state again and compete to be a state champion. And 2 days before, pulled my groin, and so that was out of the picture. So both big opportunities I had ended with me being injured and not being able to complete those opportunities, but those just led to much bigger and better opportunities in my life.
Yep. And kind of the same thing on a less extreme graph is, since I was doing really good at track, and I actually was making fun of me. I was actually pretty good at track.
Good.
So I did the 300-meter hurdles. That was kind of my thing. And
is she even in it?
The first race that counted for me, there was 2 races ahead of me besides the one that doesn't make sense. Anyways, I was close to state. I was 3 races away, and one of the races I was racing was one of the ones leading.
There's that districts, right?
Districts, yeah.
So
I don't know if you know all that stuff.
You have to get top 4 in districts to go to sectionals, top 4 in sectionals to make it to state.
There you go. That's good. So
district sectionals. I made it to sectionals.
Highly rated to sectionals.
What did you make it to, Marsh?
Well, they do cross country, so the skinnier and smaller you are, the better you are at running long. Anyways, I was against the opposite race as well as the same race as me, of extremely talented young men on the southwest side of Missouri. And I was racing, and at the beginning of the year, there was this kid that I had a goal to beat, and he started off being 3 hurdles ahead. And each hurdle is how many feet between, Maverick? Like
3 steps, 3 large steps.
No.
What are you talking about?
100.
Oh, the 300?
100 meter.
I know. It's a lot.
It's like 19 steps, something huge like that. So 3 hurdle lengths is massive. That's like a whole curve almost. So this kid,
it'd be 100.
This kid was beating me
100 meters.
big time. Yeah, he was like 100 meters ahead. He was beating me big time. I was JV starting out 300-meter hurdles last year. At the end, every single race I progressed, and it finally came down to the big one. And the races before that, I was dominating. And finally, I was neck and neck with this kid, the same kid at the beginning of the year that I said I would beat. And we were neck and neck, competing for the top 4th position. And then I tripped. So, yeah. So I was.
That was the end
second,
of that story.
That was the second to last hurdle. So if I would have made it over that hurdle, and then the next, it would have been a really close race between me and that kid for 4th place, which would have brought us to the next race, and then that next race would be state. So I saw my dreams right in front of me, and then I fell, and so if I would have made that, maybe I would have made it to state. And if I would have made it to state,
he tripped on his foot.
maybe. Okay, so here's the thing. Yeah, I'm trying to make it sound cool at least.
You just tripped on your own feet.
Look, here's the deal, okay? My ankle gave out because I was running as fast as I could because I had to keep up with these fast kids. That's the much I've ever pushed myself. And I fell the second to last hurdle, okay? Right? That season's over. If I would have made it to state, I probably would have been doing track this year. But I'm kind of like throwing the story into the future. This year is going to be really successful for me, and I'm going to make a lot of money. So in return, that's kind of my story, is since I tripped in track, it opened up an opportunity for me to start business. And this last winter, I've done 2 businesses. I could have created like 3 or 4, but I decided to stick with one main business, and that's power washing and soft washing. And that's a huge business. If you don't know, there's like 20 different things you can do to a house, and a lot of them are big profits. So, as well as I own a DJ business. We don't have as many gigs through that because I don't really focus on it as much, but it's Alpha Music Production. And so this winter time was a big step for me in the right direction. And so I kind of transitioned from sports to business. And so that's my story. And as well, so I picked Allie up from the sport gig, and then I brought her over to the business gig. We're both not going to do track, and we're both doing business, which that was her own choice. She's not doing track.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it though?
I asked her every day if she actually wants to do it.
I was in a boot freshman cross country year. I was in a boot sophomore cross country season. I don't want to be
Yeah,
in a bit
I'd
like
end
that.
it. I'd be done.
So
Injuries suck.
she doesn't want to get hurt again, as well as she learned that money is funner than
More fun.
more fun.
okay.
Here's the deal, Maverick. Okay, this is my own podcast.
I was just
so I got good grammar. So
I
that's
got
where.
that. I got that. Good grammar.
So that's the whole story. Okay, that's the whole genre. Okay, that's me and Maverick's lives. On the way, we both picked up 2 chicks. One's good looking and one's pregnant. So,
How do you think I got pregnant? I'm good looking.
Yes.
I don't think that's
you are-
how you got pregnant,
But
but
you are still a sexy
I'm sure
lady.
it helped. Well, they kind of looked
Still
like
sexy
they
in my
kind of
eyes,
looked
babe.
like sisters in a way.
So Marshall's trying to marry Haley.
Yeah, you are. You're in love with me?
No,
However,
you're a little bit
Allison-
more pale. So
Can we tell the?
they look like sisters, though. They're
Can
not.
we tell the podcast why Allison started talking to you?
Go ahead. Tell the gosh dang story. This is stupid.
So I think the best part of this whole podcast
rigged.
is what?
What? No,
What did you say?
I didn't say nothing.
I'll have to go back and watch the podcast.
Good. You don't watch any of them.
Yeah, I do. I at least watch the first 5 minutes or the last 5 minutes.
So my intros.
I'm just kidding. So Allie started talking to Marsh to what was it, Allie?
Yeah, you say it.
Because Maverick was cool.
She thought I was cool, so yeah.
In the Mormon church, Maverick was cool. Apparently, you know, big returned missionary
we are
guy.
not the Mormon church.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
There you go.
And we were passing the football, me and Maverick. And Allie, you guys are actually like dead sisters, because before Maverick, Haley like had 50 boyfriends, and before me, Allie had like 3 or 4 things in a span of like a couple months.
Really,
So
Allie?
she
That's
had
you.
a crush on every single kid in my church. Anyways, finally she had the genitals to talk to me, and me and Maverick were playing football, and I thought Allie just loved me because she was coming up and she wanted to play football with us. She was flirting and stuff. Look back 10 months later, I find out it was because she thought Maverick was cool and she wanted to get closer to Maverick and like hang out with Maverick because he's cool.
Where was this? Where did this
We were in the church parking lot after
activities.
activities, yes.
Because I taught the
You taught the
7-year-olds
young-
with Dad. 7 to 11.
You
We
were
were
already
passing
married.
the football.
You were
Ooh, yeah,
going for
I
a
was-
married man, Allie.
No, she just thought it was cool. She's just trying to hang.
Yeah.
She never said she thought he was good looking. She
Yes,
thought
she did.
she thought he was cool.
He's the best looking brother.
No. You not see the
You
TikTok?
have to say that.
Do I know?
Yes.
No, who's the best looking brother, Allie?
Anyways, I hate to.
What is this crap? You're gonna get fired as a co-host. You're making me look bad.
I hate to end this on a bad note for you, Marsh, but can we wrap it up? We got a baby to put to bed.
You got 2 babies. Well, 3, kind of.
He's the baby in this relationship.
No, Maverick definitely wears the pants.
I beg to differ.
We both share a pant leg.
Yeah, we walk like this.
And one's a little stretched.
No. Just fun
Is there
size.
anything else, or can we wrap this up?
There's
I'm
nicer
sorry.
ways to do it,
I'm
Maverick.
sorry.
Gosh,
I didn't
dang.
mean it like that. I just, we got a baby
I
to
think
put
this
to
has
bed.
been fun.
Yep,
It has. It's
I
been
know.
good. Thanks
It's
for-
good. Yep,
thanks for
thank you
inviting me.
for being on the M Empire podcast.
Other
Haley,
than
thanks for being a
Jasper.
surprise guest.
You're
Other
welcome.
than Jasper, I'm
Allison.
the first brother on here, right?
Yep, you're the first brother.
Other than Jasper.
I'm the first sister.
Hopefully next week we can get my dad on here, and then I'm gonna try and convince Austin to make time for me to come on here, and then Dallas, he's getting his airplane
Pilot's
license, so maybe he can fly down, do a little surprise podcast with me. But yep, that's it. Thank you guys for watching M Empire. Thank you, Maverick, and you learned a little bit about business today that you may have not known before. So hope you enjoyed the stories. See ya. Peace.